So what you are seeing below is a very, very sped up, almost hour-long collaborative composition editing session between Heather Savage and I with this piano duet we have been working on. Those of you who are following these videos know exactly what I'm talking about. It's called Variations of Transformation. And fun thing, I think I'm safe to say both of us have been more so realizing, or I should say reminded of what I was told in a lot of my music business classes when I was in school. And that is, when you're working in the music industry, it's not something that can ever be done alone. You can't make it on your own. It can't be done. It has to be a collaborative process somehow. Whether you're the recorder working with studio musicians or the studio musician working with arrangers and composers to get your sheet music done properly, or you're a songwriter who needs, the recording staff, or a composer looking for publishers, whatever the role is. Working with other people is just how you have to do that. You have to do a little bit of a lot. Is the thing I was told most often. You have to do a little bit of a lot. And with this collaborative composition process, it's not something that Heather or I have ever tried quite like this before. I think at the very beginning, she actually told me she's never tried to co-write a piano duet. I think I forget which song it was, but I did try to do one. Oh, it was with Owl City's song Fireflies. I did a piano duet of that one, but that's like a pop song. And so doing a little bit more, I guess I could call it a mix of like classical and more maybe neoclassical modern type of composition styles. At one point we were going through the score and the editing process, and I'm like, this almost sounds like a mix of Russian music in the piano 2, the bottom half of the score, and Chinese sounds in the top half, the piano 1 part of the score. And she's like, oh yeah, a little bit. And I'm like, it's just interesting to me. The really actually beautiful melding of ideas that happens with the collaborative composition process. A lot of what has happened through this has been, I've gone through and said, okay, well, let's try and come up with a good melody to start with, a good tonal center and foundation for this whole piece to follow. And, all these other different ideas I would put into this. And then Heather just basically said, why don't you show me what you got, and we'll go through this, I'll see what I can add. And so I would work on it a little bit, and then Heather would kind of say, okay, well, this is kind of what I hear underneath or over top of what you just put down in this section or whatever. And she would kind of insert her thoughts and ideas into the score. And we kind of leapfrog a little bit back and forth like that. And I've been noticing parts where, I even just mentioned to her today, I was like, okay, by the way, these I think it was like 2 or 3 measures, where I said, this little section here, those like kind of intricate 7th chord type melodies, it's like 7th chords stacked up and down in a series and 2 different keys or chords. And I'm like, that little extra thing, those few measures you just kind of inserted in there, love it. And there's certain parts where ideas that I would insert along the composition process, she'd look at it and be like, okay, that's just fun. That is a fun part you did right there. And just feeding off of each other, these ideas we've been bouncing forth back and forth this whole time has been, yes, fun. It's been educational. It's also been a reminder that really, really good music, whether it be popular songwriting, rock music, band stuff, or classical composition, whatever it may be, all the really best ideas out there, at least most of them in my opinion, have come from more than one person working on the same music. I said to her exactly this phrase, great minds think alike, I guess. Alluding to the fact that we're both, very heavily, highly trained professional pianists. We're both really good at sight reading. We can both play by ear really, really well as well. We both have a lot of experience accompanying choirs and groups and other soloists and things like that. And so just this process of melding Heather's ideas with mine throughout the score Um, I think some of the best instrumental piano ideas I have ever seen have, like at least in my own work, have come forward in droves and been enhanced by working with Heather. And I would bet it's safe to say that she'd probably feel the same way the other way around. Some of the best material that either of us have ever produced, I don't know about the best ever, but some of the best have come because we have been working together on this, and because we've been bouncing ideas off of each other. And oh well, this I think honestly I think that sounds a little weird, you know, or oh well, why so? And then we'd explain, you know, what do you think about this instead? And sometimes it's oh yeah, that is a little bit better, or other times it's like, you know, this is great, but you know, what if we try this fingering or this chord or this note instead, or maybe put the dynamics this way. And we've gone back and forth kind of at different points, like correcting each other through the process. You know, just kind of letting each other know, oh, there's a mistake right here I think we need to fix, or oh, that part's really good. And this whole melding of ideas, like I said a minute ago, has just been a quite incredible, beautiful process. So for any of you pianists out there, especially the ones, you pianists who are, you know, trained enough and skilled enough to get into the really kind of advanced type of piano scores and things like that, I highly recommend giving this process a shot. It's a lot of fun, and you learn very quickly in a positive way, both where your strengths lie and where your weaknesses are, and where you work really well with other people and where you maybe need to work on a little bit. So stay tuned for the final version of this score we're working on. I think we're just about there. And I cannot wait. Honestly, I can't wait for you guys to see the result of this. We are working and in the process of trying to schedule 2 debut performances of it in the Eastern US. So watch for announcements for that. Hopefully we'll make it work. Have a good one, guys.